for Pray for the Gods.
Hello, I am Usurpering. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. It's nice to see you all. It's nice to Pray for the Gods, Pray for the Gods for its first ever big stage marathon speedrun, which is going to be, it's going to be amazing. I'm super hyped for it. Does my commentary want to introduce themselves?
Sure. Hi, my name's RUBIEHART. Today pronouns are they, she, he. I don't speedrun this game, but I have played it casually, and I am a part of another speedrun community with you, so really excited to be here to talk about this game.
And hi, my name is Sunbrojade. I am a Shadow of the Colossus and Team Eco / Gen Design speedrunner. I have not personally played Pray for the Gods, but I have watched Usurpering play, and I'm excited to have you guys see how amazing she is at it.
Awesome, and we also have a third commentator who's going to be silent. This is Sindri, this is my cat. He's just settling down on the desk, so if you hear anything being knocked over, I can assure you it's nothing serious, it's just the cat being a cat. So without further ado, I guess we can just carry on with the run. Have we got game audio, or is everything Hold on, I just don't have game audio. Let me just fix that real quick. So it appears I don't have game audio at the moment. I don't know why it turned off.
Oh no!
Whoops. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Pet the cat, it always helps.
Yep. Well, you get that set up. Everyone should know this fight or this game is amazing. It is just filled with a bunch of really heckin' big boy fights. So if you like games like Titan Souls, like Shadow of the Colossus, just big epic boss fights, this is very much modeled after those games and is kind of a love letter to Shadow. So, and all three of us have speedrun that game as well. It's a good time.
Yeah. So we might just have to cut to an intermission real quick so I can actually fix this audio issue properly. We good for that, Tech?
All right, while they're getting that taken care of, I do want to remind y'all that we have a bid incentive for Pet the Dog. So make sure that when you are putting in your donations, that you put it in towards Pet the Dog, and all of those donations go towards our milestone, which is going to be 30,000 for the bonus game. So all right. Don't forget about the Yeti. They have been the official sponsor for Flame Fatales 2022 and an official merch supporter of Games Done Quick events since 2011. Right, we've got some donations in here from Barbarica. We've got $25 with no comment. Thank you for that $25. We've got Cece with $10 and no comment. We've got Miller Queen with $25 and no comment. Thank you guys all for those. Got a bunch of $25 donations down here too. Got Chris Mack Games with $25 and no comment. Lorian with $25 and no comment. Hello Melion with $25 and no comment. Thank you guys for all of that as well. Malala Fund is working for a world where every girl can learn and lead. Traditional approaches aren't cutting it. At this moment, nearly 130 million girls are out of school. Even more are in school but not learning. That's why Malala Fund is focused on accelerating progress, challenging systems, policies, and practices so all girls can access 12 years of free, safe, quality education. Inspired by Malala and Ziauddin's activist roots, Malala Fund believes that local educators and advocates provide the greatest insight, innovation, and energy needed to address barriers that keep girls out of school in their communities. Through the Education Champion Network, Malala Fund invests in their work so they can scale their efforts and leverage their collective power to create broader change to make it easier for all girls to learn. Thank you to Malala Fund for being our partner for this event. All of your donations go towards Malala Fund, so keep them coming in. All right, we've got $50 from Less Than 3 spelled out that just says less than 3. Thank you, Less Than 3 spelled out. We've got an anonymous $50 donation that says cat. I am also pretty excited for the cat. The kitty is adorable. We've got $100 from the Lemon Fairy. So excited for Flame Fatales this week. Putting this towards Yin Phase in Kuon. That's referencing, we've got a donation bid war going for the Yin or Yang phase. One of the fun things about the Yin phase is there's a dog. So if you're excited to pet the dog in Praey, definitely get your donations in towards that and towards the Yin phase. Got $25 from Andy Rack. So excited to see so many talented runners supporting an amazing cause. GG to those who already went and good luck to those about to play. $25 from Karaga, making this donation in honor of my 1-month-old niece. Love you, Charlie, and Less Than 3 GDQ. Right, we've got $25 from Coil, stepping away to avoid spoilers, but best of luck to Usurpering on her Pray for the Gods run. All right. We've got a $10 donation from Dynamic Tight with no comment. Thank you for that. And don't forget that you can head on over to the Yeti and purchase some awesome new shirts for this event, as well as a community shirt and some stickers as well. $5 from every shirt and $4 from every pin and sticker will be donated directly to Malala Fund. They've donated over $2 million to GDQ charities. All right, it sounds like we are good. I'm going to pass you guys back to Usurpering.
I'm very sorry for the technical issues. Sometimes OBS just says no and doesn't want to work, so I had to restart it, and now everything's fine. Everything's fine. We can just carry on with the run. So we're just going to sit through this loading screen real quick. And again, I have with me Ruby and Sunbrojade who will do commentary for me. So Echo Rush is different to any percent, so this is going to be an NG plus file that we're going to be going through. So I have max stamina, max health, which is going to be very useful. So without further ado, I'm going to boot up the first boss if you two just want to kind of cover the base things of the game.
Yeah, good luck, Yusu. Okay, so just as a general idea of
Oh
what
yeah,
this
feel
game
free to
is.
start the timer now.
Yep. So if you've never played this game, like I mentioned before, it's basically a love letter to Shadow of the Colossus and other take down giant titans type games. So there are multiple different gods in this land where essentially the world has become frozen over and it's starting to become Ragnarok. And this character has come to this very faraway land to try and fell these gods who are essentially trying to end the world. So what Yusu is doing right here, this first god is called Satyr. Is usually you can use the grapple hook that Yusu is using right now in order to grab onto different grapple points on the gods. But by ringing this bell on the architecture here, it's going to cause a huge ringing to burst out and make Satyr freak, as you can see. And by using the amazing job there, by using the hang glide, can fly all the way to the head of this god. That is what is used in the IL strats, and being able to get on the head so quickly there was solid.
I love me some physics. Oh boy.
Yeah, one of the things that should be noted is everything Yusu is doing in this game is way harder than it looks. This game, it's an absolutely gorgeous game visually, but physics-wise, you can tell it was kind of made by 3 people. It is a smaller indie game, so sometimes when you grab, it may not register the grab immediately.
Can I ring the bell? Can I ring the bell? Hello? Sir? Game, can I ring the bell? Hold on. Game, I would like to ring the bell. This hasn't happened. This hasn't happened before. Totally not happened. Yeah, Satyr, I know, buddy. It's almost like I'm trying to kill the boss.
Is this the first that's never happened before of this run already? On
Okay,
the first
there we go. I can ring the bell now.
Yay! Yes, so Yusu's gonna ring the bell again to get back on the god, and there are 3 different bells that Yusu's gonna have to hit 3 times, like she did with the one on the head. The second one is on the shoulder. You can see the lights kind of shining out right now, showing exactly where those are. So one is on the shoulder, and once she finishes this one out, she'll be able to kind of make her way up the shoulder and back towards the back to get that final bell.
Yeah, so usually like once the light has gone out on that like big bell up there, I should be able to ring like it all over again, but like apparently not for some reason, so that's alright. So we can just go up and ring it again. So why we do this is because in NG Plus we have an item called the Sailcloth, which lets us kind of glide along the land. And Satyr, you're right above me, buddy. And we don't have this in like a typical new game. So this allows us to use this strategy where we can just glide down onto Satyr, whereas in like a new game, typical new game, you just go to a grapple point on his back and just kind of go up that way. Also, when Satyr is stunned, I'm able to ring the bells consecutively, so just one after the other without being like interrupted or shaken. And if I just rang the bells normally, then yeah, Satyr would have like shaken us real bad and like interrupted us. I would have had to wait through like a certain like length of time of animation. But yeah, that was pretty weird. I wouldn't let me ring the bell up top, but okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, game. We love it when the game like trolls, and it trolls all the time. And again, this game was made by 3 people, so the physics can be very here and there, and you have not only just the gravity to deal with, you have the gravity of the bosses, the way they shake you, and also wind RNG as well. And this cutscene is actually a great time for a couple donations if you want to say anything.
Sure. We've got $5 from Stocky that says, from Team Ico Speedruns, good luck to you, Yuzu. You're gonna crush it. Give a lot of pets send from my part.
Thank you, Stocky. We love you.
We've got $25 from Lizzie Berry. Here's $25 because I have to have a chance at those Pokemon stickers. Pumpkaboo!
Yeah.
That's the doggo that we get to pet.
Yeah, so
by the way,
I do believe you have an incentive live for Pet the Doggo currently.
We do indeed.
Mm-hmm. If you want to plug that just real quick as well.
We are at $245 out of the $1,000 for Pet the Dog. So if you want to pet the dog at the end, let's do this.
Yes, and the doggo's going to be very big, and we're going to give him a little scratch and a little cuddle, and it's going to be very, very worth your money. Anyway, so here's the second boss, which is Worm Devourer, whatever you want to call him. He's a pain, let's say. So despite being the second chronological boss in the game, this boss's laser beams have the absolute most insane targeting in the entire game. And we're going to see some examples of that as well, as he's going to be trying to shoot me down.
Are you going for a cliffside or down below?
Yeah, I'm going to go for the cliffside first.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't get like a funky animation or anything. So every time Worm shoots, there's a certain amount of time free between each shot. And after a certain amount of shots, he has the potential to do like a different animation. So like a charge shot, or he'll like release like blue, black flame plasma balls things. Not entirely sure. Oh, there's a wraith behind me. That's not good. No fun. So this game, I'm sure you may have noticed, is kind of like Shadow of the Colossus, where you basically go off on bosses, fight them with their weak spots. And one thing that separates this game and that game is the inclusion of NPCs in the overworld. Don't do it, Worm. Okay. So Worm as well, his entire mouth is just one gigantic hitbox. So sometimes when you do that strat where you climb like up on the cliff and then glide down, he can open his mouth at you, and if you touch the mouth, you die. It doesn't matter if you have like full armor on or if you have full health. It's just like a constant hitbox that you need to like look out for. No, yeah, it's pretty scary how he did that. Sometimes as well, like his mouth will actually trap you. So I've had it before where I'm gliding down, he opens his mouth, and yeah, he just, no matter, even though I dropped, he kept his mouth open, and even if I were to touch his mouth when closed, it would be like an instant death. So it's like a very much a no-touch zone, if you will. And yeah, Worm's very simple, so the intended way of beating him is, you see kind of around the arena, you got like this monolith over there as well. That's a puzzle that we could do, where, you know, we activate some switches, we get Worm to shoot us with his laser, but instead of him shooting us, he shoots like a light bulb. All light bulbs activate, then you activate the monolith, and then Worm kind of faints because he doesn't like the ray of light. And then he's stunned, and then we can get on him. But there are multiple different ways of getting onto Worm that are not really intended. So going on top of the cliff face was one of them. Worm, don't you dare. And again, have to fight with the physics here. If I let go and Worm bonks into me, I will go flying about 10 miles across the arena. So yeah, have to be very careful when letting go of Worm as well. Pretty scary.
What's so interesting about Praey for the Gods is that's very different from Shadow of the Colossus. So Shadow of the Colossus is very, very linear as far as how you defeat the Colossi, and in Praey for the Gods there are so many different options on how you can defeat them, which is, to me, very fascinating.
Yeah. So in this game, so in any percent or in like a normal like new game run, you can choose whichever boss order that you want. Like the game will naturally kind of guide you towards like a chronological order, but you can just roam about the world and all the bosses are like active apart from the final one, which is triggered by defeating all the other bosses. So yeah, during any percent we can choose whichever boss order we want. You're not limited to anything. You can just get difficult ones out the way first if you want to. You can go in chronological if that's your style. It's kind of like you can personalize the run a bit, which is different from like a shadow run, which is actually like pretty cool. So some of us runners, we tend to go for maybe Thrall first, Krogon first, Dreki second, you know, all that jazz. Yeah, it's very interesting how you can like choose which ones you want to fight first.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that should be noted is this game, the biggest comparisons that people make to it, obviously the visually apparent one is Shadow, but the other game that they took inspiration from is Breath of the Wild. If you notice, there's that stamina meter that's right around the health bar, and there are 3 other meters. One is for making sure that your character is fed, one is to make sure that they aren't freezing, and the other one, oh gosh, actually, Yusu, help me with that. It's...
So you have cold, hunger, and sleep.
That's
Those
it. Thank
three,
you.
yeah.
And sleep. So you, there are regular times where you can find cots around the landscape, fires, but you have to focus on the survival as well to make sure your character can keep up that stamina. But just like that, that's Devour her down. Good job.
Yay!
Nice.
She's a little bit slow because of the shakes, but again, like unlike Satyr, we can't skip Worm's shake cycles, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, he's down pretty nice and easy, pretty simple. Didn't get shot, which is the main thing, and we have time for a couple donations as well.
Sure thing. I've got $15 from Hypernova. Got to get in on that chandelier acrylic stand, less than 3. And that's talking about one of our awesome prizes. Don't forget that you can go to gamesdonequick.com/prizes to take a look at all of those.
And we have time for one more as well.
All right. We've got $25 from Rarest with no comment.
Thank you so much for the donation. And without further ado, we're going to get into the third boss, which is essentially the auto-scroller of the game. His name is Boar, and Boar is a boss that exists in this game, and that's as much detail as you really could get. I mean, casually wise, it's really interesting, like figuring out how the boss works. But speedrun wise, we hate it. We have to do a set number of cycles like, each time. It's not fun. One thing as well that I can like note about the game is you can kind of personalize the way you beat a boss. So there's more than one way to like traverse and climb on a boss or fight a boss. And I might be able to show off like a couple backup strats on Boar as well. So this is Boar. Boar is kind of, I think, blind. He's very angry as well. So if I can actually let go, thank you very much, game. So we're going to activate some of these as well. So this was the kind of monolith I was on about on Worm's Arena that we could use. And Boar really does not enjoy these things. Boar may be an auto-scroller, and the minimum amount of cycles, I guess, we can do is 4. However, that's only if we get it perfectly. We may have to do 5 or 6 depending on if physics wants to be nice to us or not. It's going to trick Boar into hitting us.
Yep, and with the auto scroller, yeah, the idea is that you stand on those buttons because Boar absolutely hates light. Our assumption is that with the blindness, it's some kind of tunnel vision, and the light just causes too much to enter his eye. But by getting him to kind of hit those walls and break the lights, that's amazing. Yeah, so
Nice.
you aren't supposed to be able to walk up that leg. You have to walk up it during a very specific animation. So what Yusu did there looks very simple. It is actually incredibly impressive.
Yeah. So one thing to know about the surfaces of this game. So I'm really not able to show you, but there's a difference between rocks and ice. So rocks we can kind of stand on. It's very simple. Don't step on me. No. I'm safe. I'm okay. This is how Boar control you. But yeah, so there are surfaces in the game which are like instant slide downs because the game's basically saying, hey, you shouldn't really be on here. And when Boar kind of gets up, his leg turns into a slip and slide. But if you time like a run just right, then you're able to like maneuver up like the vertical parts of that leg. But yeah, if you leave it like a second too early or you go around the wrong path, the character will stumble along with Boar's get up animation. So that's like super like good to get, which means that we get to like save a cycle and we don't have to do a risky backup strat either. Because if we didn't get that leg, we could have grappled onto this pillar up here and then had to like blind jump onto Boar's leg as he got up, and that's just like not fun whatsoever. So yeah, it's super hard. So just gonna do another one. Yeah, go ahead.
It is not fun, but it looks super impressive when you do it.
Yeah. I mean, the most impressive like strat of the entire run will be coming up on the 6th boss. That's just my personal favorite because you just kind of zoom around in the air and it's like very, very cool looking. That's if I do get a first try. It's also one of the hardest things in the game. As Boar is just, he's just existing. And on this 3rd cycle here, Boar's going to completely break his skull. So there's 4 bells or 4 sigils on Boar. One is kind of locked underneath this armor that he's going to break away after each time he kind of hits this. And the 3rd time he hits it, he's going to completely break his skull. And he's also going to have a different kind of get up animation. So if I can time it right, I can grab onto here. and start ringing the bell as soon as he gets up.
Nicely done.
Not quite a bell.
Nice.
So there's also like an RNG element to board depending on which way he turns. So I'm just going to ring the bell here. So I'm going to be able to get 2 rings of the bell without being shaken. And then he's going to try and shake. But now if he's kind of hit like the 3rd cycle, he's going to go into rage mode, which makes him very angry. He's going to be running around a lot more. And he has the chance to knock me into a wall of ice, and I didn't get knocked into a wall of ice. Perfect. Awesome. Also, when I like fell off earlier, I just want to note, so like with Worm, if you touch Worm's mouth, you instantly die. Well, if you touch like the direct underneath of like Boar's hooves, you can also instantly die. And it's just like really, really not fun. Like dying on Boar is like embarrassing because you have to go through all the cycles all over again. And I'm just kind of hitting him with arrows, just trying to make him a bit angrier. And he's gonna hit me again. So I'm going to destroy the bell on his belly, and then I'm going to go to the bell on his head during a get up animation, which is also, you know, not particularly intended, but it's also possible. So hold and destroy. Not get hit by a rock. Left it a little late. Should be good.
Bless rock RNG.
Yes, nice.
Okay, we got it, we got it.
Nice.
So I'm not going to get perfect cycles on here, but should still be good enough. He's going to shake after each bell ring. And he's also going to shake in between, because that's how Boar do be. You really do be like that, though. You really do. Alright, buddy. Almost there. Almost there.
Yeah,
There you go, that's Boar down.
Nice. GG.
Yeah, nice. And the amount that the gods in this game can shake and cause you to not be able to ring a bell, the amount that just the smallest movement from them, if you're on the ground, can throw you completely off your feet is ridiculous. The fact that Yuzu can get this much done, just, oh god, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, so this is like a 4-cycle Boar, which is like, there's like as perfect as you can. It's not a perfect Boar, but 4 cycles is as good as you can get. You can't do any less than that, so yeah, getting that on board is really good. And we also have time for a donation. Yes, we do.
Yeah, for sure. We've got $10 from Temp. We simply cannot let the doggo go unpet. Who's better than Yuzu? No one. That's in
Thank you so
reference
much,
of our
Temp.
Pet the Dog incentive. And don't forget that if you add the incentives, it also still goes towards our bonus milestone, which at $30,000, we will get Phasmophobia.
Yes, I love Phasmo runs. Ruby and Jade actually do Phasmo runs as well, which is super, super neat.
Yeah, we got into it after becoming friends with Trace, who ran it at SGDQ. So, yeah,
shout-outs to Phasmo.
Shout-outs to Phasmo. It's a good time. Y'all, please make that Phasmo run happen. Nicole Goodnight is absolutely wonderful with that game. The two of them are absolutely going to rock the run later.
Yeah, you definitely want to see them both play Phasmophobia.
Yeah, 100%. No, this is going to be Dreki. This tends to be a lot of people's like favorite boss, just because like the design is so cool. He's just a big noodle, and the camera is like, you can move the camera during the loading screen, which is kind of confusing. Like I fiddle with the
death noodle
stick
though
all
with the
time.
skull.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He's like incredibly metal, very hardcore, very metal. Speaking of metal,
Oh wait,
Oh, yeah,
is this
metal.
the time?
Yep.
Is this the time?
This is the
It's
time.
time,
This
it's
is the
time.
time.
Okay, so the other day when we were talking about all of the different strats, we did develop a full headcanon that each of these gods is secretly in a punk band. If you were paying very close attention, you can see that Satyr, the first Colossus god, pray for
Yes.
the Colossus, shadow of the gods.
Shadow of
Goodness, I will always
Colossusant?
do this. Colossus, shadow of the Colossusant. So Satyr is wearing black nail polish, as is one of the other gods who is coming up, named Thrall. So our headcanon is that the two of them are the lead drummer and singer couple of a punk rock band. So we do have instruments that go with each of the gods, and this particular god we said was on harmonica, because I think it was actually Krogon that we put on harmonica, because
that's right. Big
the
mouth.
antennae, the antennae could like hold the harmonica in front of his big heckin' mouth. So I don't remember what instrument we had this one as. I think like another drum or something, because so many of them are
Somebody
on drums.
was bongos.
That was Yeti,
was bongo,
who's going to be coming
Yeti's-
up. Yep.
Yeti's bongos,
Yeah.
that's right.
We'll figure out which instrument this particular one is. And then Worm was theremin, which is very important, I think, because of the fact that his body just kind of flaps around in the air, and the theremin you can play by moving your hand up and down in the air.
I missed the cycle. So usually what you have to do is you have to kind of get like Dreki to like break these like ice with his fireballs, and every single like fireball shot is on like a time cycle. And if I was quick enough, I would have been able to get him to break this on the second fireball shot. But unfortunately, I wasn't that quick, so now we can just like wait around, I guess. Just for him to shoot his fireball. He's gonna roll as an audio cue.
Come on, Dreki. Yeah.
And that should activate the fans so that once this puzzle is fully solved, Yusu will actually be able to fling herself all the way up to get onto this god. And there are a bunch of symbols that are going to light up that will specifically get him really aggroed, so he won't want to fly quite as high up.
Bro, let me get the arrow shot, please.
Come on, you got this.
This is some malice
There it
kind of
is, yeah.
Yeah. Big brain.
So if you do hit it on the first try, you can save quite a bit of time
My guy.
by activating the vent by shooting an arrow into it.
Yep, and I will say, so far, each of the gods has only had 3 bells to deal with, but this is the first one that brings a lot more into the equation. If I'm remembering correctly, this god has 5 different bells on him.
No, Dreki only has 4 bells. Bor also
4,
had
I'm
4.
mistaken.
Yeah. You think because he's like so big that he'd have more, but like no, Dreki has like a moderate amount. If Dreki had 5 bells, I think I'd actually start crying and I wouldn't run the game.
See, I was thinking that under each of those gates that leads further back on him, that there was one under there, and then there's also one on the farthest back part of the tail and the head. So, but I'm probably miscalculating there. So thank you for the correction.
That's all right. You think just like how like Phalanx has like 4 sigils, Dreki also has 4 sigils. That's a meme reference to
The
my
secret
friend
4
Stocky.
sigil Stocky.
The 4th sigil. He actually donated shouts to Stocky for being a lovable bean.
Shout outs to Stocky.
Yes.
Yep.
And Dreki's preferred method of shake is to do barrel rolls. He has different kinds of barrel rolls, and as you can see, he can chain them together, or he can just fly around still. Sometimes you can get like a 2-cycle bell ring in. So we should be good. He's gonna roll very slowly this time. Alright, buddy, you do you. I'm not gonna judge. And you can actually like run across Dreki as he's like shaking as well. And he will roar and like try to shake us off, but he won't like actively like attack us whilst we're on his back, which is like always positive. One thing to note as well, so when I grab onto a boss, my camera has to be facing where I want to grab onto. If my camera is facing the wrong direction and like I want to grab on, then I just won't grab on and I will fall and it will be misery. So yeah, there's a lot of like camera manipulation that has to go on during a boss fight. If I look in the wrong direction, then it's going to be anarchy. And Dreki's in like a kind of rage mode now, so that means Dreki's going to be shaking a little bit more. And every time we destroy its bell, he will just always roll. Nothing you can do about it. And there goes the cat. Goodbye, friend.
Yep. The really nice thing though with these rolls is you can still time the running animations just to stay on top of him. And basically every one of these gates, as he rotates, if you hit the switch, it allows you to open the gate up just enough to get to the bell that's kind of hidden underneath, and then move forward onto the next section that will have the additional bells. So that's what Yusu's doing as she moves further and further back.
Oh, almost got the second. Go ahead.
The very difficult part is when traversing across Dreki while he's rolling, you have to watch out for his big spikes that are jutting out from him. Because if you do hit that, you will more than likely fall off.
Yeah. So as I was like kind of running across him as he was doing the roll, if I hit a spike, I would have like, full on hit it with my face and then been unable to like get past him, and that would have meant I would have fallen. So part of like doing that particular strat is just knowing where the spikes are on his body, and that just comes with like time from fighting. Dreki's like one that I don't really practice so much, and he keeps shaking on this sigil. Honey,
triangle. It was doing? Triangle. Manic Ascended just said Dreki feels like he should be on triangle, and that's actually what we said the other day. That was the instrument.
Right,
that was
right.
it. Thank you, Manic Ascended.
Thank you.
Yeah, he just kind of smacks his face into it with the skull. It's part of the aesthetic.
The metal triangle Yeah, and cowbell. I think cowbell.
And cowbell,
was a part of this.
Yep, that was the other one. And then the next one we're hitting will be on bongos. And I'll keep saying the instruments as we go down and see them. But I think we've only got the one bell left on this one on the tail.
Yes, it's just the one on the tail, which we need to be careful about also not, like, falling to our death on.
Yep.
So I'm going to be using Drecky's roll to our advantage and not hit spike.
Ooh. Oh, no.
Hold on, we have convenient... Oh, come on. Grapple be like...
Oh, that was so close.
That was one of the unfortunate times where sometimes your grapple will phase through the boss.
Yeah. So there are certain points on a boss where you can grapple onto, and that will highlight in green. And you don't need like a perfect aim towards it, because it kind of auto-aims you onto it. And you can have a clear shot, but it will still phase through the entire boss, which is just super unfortunate. The IL strat for Drecky, you actually use the grapple points on his body to your advantage, and you just grapple like on and off as he like does his barrel rolls, which is like absolutely insane. If you want to see like some good ILs, I'd highly recommend going onto SRC. Judge Magister, who's actually in chat right now, has done some absolutely insane ILs. I'm just gonna wait out a roll from him so I can actually get onto his tail sigil. And he is just not rolling for once. Come on, buddy.
Yep, and while we're waiting for the roll, there was a question in chat about, much like Shadow, hey, why are we killing these majestic beasts? In this one, the character is a lot more of a hero because the world has been plunged into an eternal winter, and the only way to stop literal end of the world Ragnarok is by destroying these things. So that's why this character is here in the first place.
So as soon as like you boot up a new game, there's a bit of like lore background and stuff, and then throughout the like overworld you can pick up lore notes, you can find old campsites, and it's actually kind of dark and grim. The lore notes you find is about like, you know, all these horrible things people have to go through, because they actually like are the ones who like had to restrain these gods down and actually had to implement the bells onto them as well. And yeah, Drecky finally down, which is good.
Nice.
And
Also,
yeah.
did you say lore?
Did I say what?
Lore? Did you say lore?
Lore?
There's lore.
Yes.
Lore? Give lore. This game has some pretty interesting lore, but you have to like go out and find it in the overworld and collect. I think there's like 40 lore notes in the entire game that you have to find. 60 totems, which increase your health and stamina. Yeah, this game actually has more to it than boss fights, and we're just killing the bosses here. And we actually have time for another quick 2 donations.
All right, I've got $100 from I Am Gibbon. Pet the dog? Pet the dog!
Pet the dog!
Pet that dog.
Yeah.
Also got $250 from Flamethrower. Pet that doggo!
Yes, we do want to pet the dog, and we're going to give the dog all the pets in the world. Well, not all the pets, otherwise we'd be here forever. And, other people have to run to. There. But yeah, it's Drecky down, very nice. And we actually have Yeti, which is the big-handed boy, the one who plays bongos in our headcanon band.
So Yusu was talking about how the one-shots from worm/devourer's mouth and boars under hooves. Well, this one will give you a mega slap.
Yeah.
And if you do get hit by it, it will instantly kill you.
Yeah, it will just be like a Dark Souls, you died. Again, even when the boss isn't hitting you, because like Yeti's entire hand is a hitbox, yeah, he will just like slap you and one hit KO you. And we can do like a slight like loose AI minute. It's not like ultra precise, but we just like move in a certain way at the start of the fight, and then he'll always do this attack on us. And I'm gonna do this a safe way. So there's a different way you can do this, where you can utilize like his animations to your advantage, where you can hit him in the eye when they glow up. So intended, let's say intended, you'd use your bow and arrow, and then you'd kind of hit him in the eye with your bow, and then he'd be stunned, and you climb up him, and then that's kind of Bob's your uncle, you know, that's it. However, if I get Yeti to do that animation and then run up his arm, I can just safely like make my way onto his body. And then the challenge is not falling off and not being slapped like a mosquito. Yeah, because Yeti has massive hands, and I'll notice occasionally he may do an animation where it'll just like go like that, and that's an instant kill. So I'm playing the game on easy story mode. There's like a bunch of different difficulties and then different survival levels of the game. And easy mode, you take the least amount of damage. There's no survival elements really that will alter your playthrough, but you will still be one hit KO'd by a lot of bosses in certain like one hit KO areas.
Yeah, and I'm gonna note that just because it makes it easier to not die doesn't mean that you won't die a million times on easy mode. This game is incredibly difficult.
Bro, why would the grapple keep doing that to me? Okay, we can do a different backup maybe to get to his other arm.
So we were speaking about like the different grapple points on the gods. If you notice the kind of it almost to me it looks like the Umbrella Corporation symbol on the back of Yeti here. That's one of the grapple points, and unfortunately Yusu had grapple has phased right through.
Yeah, because Yeti, even when he has his arms like up, it's not really counted as like a vertical walkable surface. So you will slide off if you're not standing in the right place. Kind of like what I was doing on Ball's leg, despite Yeti being covered in fur. So I guess unfortunate, but luckily we got straight back on him due to a good animation. Hopefully he doesn't swap us. There we go. His game will troll you in ways you don't think you've been trolled ever before. And yeah, so luckily we got a good backup, which I will not complain about.
Yeah, while the grabbing mechanic, Yusu makes it look incredibly easy, but it is actually easier to fall off of everything.
Yes. If anyone's ever played this game casually, I think you know just like how easy it is to fall off, and the re-grab mechanic. So I'm not holding on to the grab button, I'm just grabbing onto Yeti. And if I were to tap X, I would let go. But if I want to let go and re-grab, you don't do instantly. There's like a 1 second delay plus, depending on what kind of surface you're on, just because, you know, the game says so. And it's really,
on top
really
of
rough.
that, yeah, it's also about like the angle of the camera. So sometimes like if you don't have the camera pointed exactly at the right angle while you're trying to grab, it will just register that there's more space than there actually is. So that can make it extra difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually got the grapple this time, which is nice. I can't believe I had like 2 different phase throughs. That's it's more common, well, it's uncommon, but it feels common for me, and I feel personally attacked. Why would you, Parnell, why?
How could you have done this?
I can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe you've done this.
But Yeti only has 3
so
bells,
rude.
luckily. I remember my casual playthrough, Yeti was like a massive pain in the butt. But speedrun-wise, as long as you don't fall off, he's nice and easy. You just go from one side to the other. And yeah, it's Yeti then. And we also have donation time, if you want to read some donations.
Yeah, for sure. We've got $10 from Dr. God, PhD. Let's go education. Also love the kitty on the camera. Good luck on the run.
He's licking himself. We're not going to change the camera to see that. We don't need to see that.
Also,
Needs to be a clean boy.
always got to be a clean boy. We've also got a $30 donation from Trainer Anade. Pet the dog.
Yes. How far along are we on the pet the dog?
We are at $695 out of the $1,000.
Oh wow.
We're so
Okay.
close, chat. We got this. You can make
Wait,
that.
what's that? We're always gonna pet the dog. Oh my goodness.
And
Yes.
I might be able
I'm
to
living for
entice
this.
you with with Pet the Dog. Just so you know, this dog later on has booties.
Yes.
If that helps.
Like, you know, dog shoes, not, you know,
little.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Little.
You will be able to see a sneak preview of the dog in the final fight. So hey, don't go anywhere and change that dial. Stick with Games Done Quick and give your money and donations to the Malala Fund so you can see those adorable dog booties, and you can
Yes.
see the doggo that gets bigger with every god getting a heckin' pet.
Yes, and we also have one of the hardest strats you can do in the entire run. coming up, which I really hope I can get first try. I've heard super lucky. So this is Krogon, and this is the only boss which I'll ask for serious time, and I'll just say serious time when I want serious time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grapple up here. So usually you see this kind of bit in the middle, and when you. Yes, I love the floor. The floor is fantastic. I love, when I can't run forward and I slide off. That's just my favorite thing.
Weird glitch.
Weird glitch. Okay, so this is going to be first try, and it's going to be great.
Yes, first try. I have been stuck in that, it's just like a corner of a few pixels are dipped in, but it wants to slide you off, but no. No, that's very frustrating. Anyway, back to Krogon. So, intended, usually what you're supposed to do is, in the center of the arena, there's kind of this thing, the thing, TM, that you need to raise up using some switches that you would have used for, Dreki. And, we just kind of skip that. So the devs actually put in, a little thing for us speedrunners to use. And again, we can do the fights in a variety of different ways. So I'm going to skip the intended puzzle, and I'm not going to fall in the dip. Pog, let's go. And again, has some wind RNG here, so I'm being blown quite nicely. I'm going to make my way up here. And there's these air vents around the ends of the arena that are going to bring us up to Krogon's level. And if I can just hit this. And I just need to get there for around 40 seconds into the IL, which I should have plenty of time. Yeah, plenty of time.
Ooh, nice grapple. Wow.
Yeah, grapple is kind of sussy. And we should all be
being
good.
a little sus today.
And this is where I'm gonna have some serious time, just me talking. So I'm just gonna have be gliding up here, and at a certain couple seconds on the timer, I'm gonna just kind of let go and try and fly towards Krogon, or the pathway's gonna fly in. So kind of want to get as close to him as possible, and grapple on. And I'm going to do 2 shuffles, so I'm waiting for my controller to vibrate a couple times. I'm going to instantly ring the bell. 1, ring the bell. 2, and this skip is very, very precise. It's like a wing drop, like Avion level wing drop. I need to manipulate the camera. 1, 2, 3, hold forward, look down, hold. There we go. That's one of the hardest things in the entire game.
Well done, Yusu.
You have the wind blowing you, and then you have the game just saying no to you, and that's the hardest drop in the game. Oh, thank goodness.
That was incredible.
Here, what we're doing is ringing a bell, but I'm gonna let go and re-grab, because as I'm holding the bell, Krogon's gonna flap his wings to try and shake me off. But if I stand up and then re-grab between the bell rings, Krogon will think I'm not on there anymore. And this is the second swag stuff that we get to do, so I'm gonna let go. Just, having a good time, anyway, so again, manipulating the camera, because you can fall off the tail if your camera's not positioned right. And looks like we have good timing, so I'm gonna ring this 3 times. So Krogon has 4 bell sigils, 1 in each wing, 1 in the belly, 1 in the tail. And this IL strat is also dependent on Krogon's flying cycles, so they're the same every single time, and hopefully I can just get blind jump semi-blind. Very careful, very good. That one's not as hard as the first drop, but it's terrifying enough. It's very easy to overshoot your jumps, and Krogon, don't flap your wings, honey. Thank you. So hit 1. So the way to hold on to a boss as they're shaking, that's what happens when you re-grab sometimes, is you can either hold or tap circle if you're using console, and I switched mine to hold just for comfort reasons, and also got let go and re-grab, didn't get so far, and 1 more, and Krogon's down, and that's one of the hardest things you can do in the run IL wise, so yeah, I'm pretty happy I got that. Just ignore the reset at the start where the floor tried to consume me.
That was
We just did a
gorgeous.
sacrifice to wind RNG.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes. But that was an absolutely gorgeous Krogon. Well done.
That was beautiful.
This is the strat that makes you think, yes, I want to speedrun the game too. It's very, very, very cool. And we actually have some more donation time coming up.
For sure. We've got $10 from Phoenix Captain. Please pet that pupper. Man, I wanna pet that pupper. It sounds adorable. I've never seen this pupper. Chat, can y'all please make this happen? We are at $885 out of 1,000.
Yes. And we have 2 bosses left. We can do it.
We can do this, chat.
We can do it. And I just have
pet
to
the dog with the shoes.
Yeah, just keep an eye on my cat, making sure he's not causing absolute chaos and mischief. He's okay. Oh, there he goes. He's left. He'll come back. I have a treat on my desk for later, if everyone wants to see me feed the cat a treat. And this is also one of the most frustrating bosses of the game, called Thrall. Ruby, would you like to talk about Thrall? I know you're very passionate about it.
Why are you asking me about Thrall? Okay, so story time. I was very excited. I wanted to join Yusu and the others in speedrunning this game. It's a real cool game. And then I got to this fight, and it took me weeks of playing it on stream to beat. I think I put a solid 12 hours into this boss because he will do stomp animations that just insta-kill you or throw you off in really random ways. There are a bunch of different ways to climb him, but he very often shakes you off. And you have to use these flower bombs essentially to knock off different pieces of his armor in order to make your way up the god. And it is so freaking hard to aim these things. This is hands down the hardest fight in the game, and for quite a few people, and unfortunately me among them, this is a point where I know some people rage and just don't finish the game, or some people who were looking at speedrunning it just don't anymore. So what Yusu is doing here is hitting the leg with a few of the bomb flowers in order to knock off some of the armor to get to that first bell. There is another bell that's going to be on the back of that right hand, so that is one of the places that the bomb flower is going to go. But if you see this big drum that's rude.
Back up.
So the big drum that's on his back is what Yusu is aiming for right now, because that needs to get hit in order for in order for the next piece of the puzzle to kind of be opened up. There's essentially a lever in there that will allow Yusu to literally switch the position of some of the armor in order to be able to get past that crown that you see on his head and get to the head sigil that is much further forward. This boss is absolutely ridiculous, and as you can see, he also constantly throws rocks at you, knocks you down to the ground.
Trolling me at the moment. So hopefully I need to destroy this particular pillar, because that's what I'm going to grapple onto later. Oh, and it phased through you. Wonderful.
No.
Yep. As we get closer, I need everyone to note the black nail polish that his boyfriend Satyr absolutely picked out for the two of them.
It's in
sure.
It's in shade
100%.
void. I just want you all to know.
Yeah, the void shade.
The void shade, aka the shadow. What? These boulders also track you a ridiculous amount. They don't just go in one direction. It feels like they track you, and it's rude. It's rude.
So I'm gonna keep trying to get the flower bomb to hit him, because it's really unfortunate when the bullets just phase through the boss. Buddy, I know. Almost like it's not intentional. It's actually not intentional to hit the boss like this. So usually what you're supposed to do is a route. Oh, come on, buddy. Where you make him destroy the pillars himself, because he has laser beams he can shoot you with. Okay, we're just gonna do it a more intended way. This is fine. Everything's fine. We're gonna deal with what we've got. I don't want to reset the fight.
Are you saying that Thrall is being Thrall? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Thrall is being a typical Thrall fight, for real. Usually at the start of the fight, if you move in the exact same way each time, you'll get to a guaranteed animation cycle, and so you can predict, where his boulders are going to land, and you can, have a great time. But if you start missing your shots, that's when things are gonna get weird. So I'm gonna try and do something. Gonna wait for him to do a roar. So that means I can ring this bell twice. And I'm not going to land on the leg, which is fine. Just means I can regain some stamina. So usually what I do that is as Thrall is shaking his upper body, I can glide down to the bell on his leg, and as he's shaking his body, I can ring the bell on his leg without being interrupted by leg shakes, which is good. So every time I ring this bell, I'm going to get a leg shake, but the general idea when you let go of the arm and fly down is to not get shaken, because Thrall's like busy shaking a different part of his body. So on each boss, well, most bosses actually, like this for example, each part of his body will contain a different kind of part where it's like, hey, I'm going to shake this part of my body and not the other, and I'm going to loop the animation because I can. So we can kind of trick Thrall into thinking we're on a different part of a body than we actually are, which is what we can use to kind of cycle ring the bells in a way. Also, getting back onto Thrall's hand is a nightmare. Again, having to rely on auto aim.
Hey, but it actually worked this time. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and as he's doing a stomp animation, I can hit here. And because I didn't like break that pillar like I wanted to, I have to kind of like get up his arm in a more intended way. So Thrall's going to use some laser beams to try and get me. And I'm going to utilize those laser beams to my advantage so I can safely cross his body. Thanks, buddy. So he's going to move his arm up. Thank you, my dude. Good job. Now this is also risky, so Thrall can do two animations whilst on here. So he can either shake his body like that, or he can try and shoot you laser beams. What we don't want is the shake animation, so I have to aim a shot here with my grapple, which is not intended. And the way we want to do it is to not be shot by laser beams. Oh, okay. And we also want him not to shake. There we go. And that's going to activate a magical thing on his head. And he's not going to shake. Fantastic. We can just go down here. Lovely. And not fall off. Good. Yeah, Thrall has like 4 major bells on him. And intended, you're supposed to do is you're supposed to drop down into that kind of prison in his body and activate a switch, come onto his neck and then climb up onto his neck, because that dangly thing is actually breakable, and it's what you use to kind of grapple onto him at first, that you would usually do an intended playthrough. But yeah, like just Thrall is just a nightmare. And if you want to see like Thrall like being absolutely destroyed, I would highly recommend watching Judge Magister's IL world record, where he defeats Thrall in 2 minutes something, 50 something. I don't remember, to be honest.
The IL is legitimately insane.
Nutty.
And if you were playing this punishing god and had the thought of, oh my god, how in the world could someone do this, and want to see this god get absolutely wrecked, that's a great place to do it. It truly is. It's so satisfying to watch.
I'm gonna come down here. Don't slide off. There we go. So again, we're gonna use Thrall to break the armor on his arm. And then hopefully don't get hit by the laser beams. So usually what you want to do...
Just want to let you guys know we met the Pet the Dog incentive.
Yes! We get to pet the dog, let's go. Can you like break them this time, my guy?
Hey, thanks, chat.
Thank you so much, chat, and all the donators for letting us pet the dog. And trust me, it's going to be very worth the money. And Thrall, I would like you to behave. This is why, like, Thrall casually is like such a pain. Like, he's just doing all sorts of like weird and wacky stuff with his like arms and his body, and it's just not a good time. But luckily this is the last bell, and man, if 7-minute Thrall's pretty awful, but in the long run you just have to like grin and bear it essentially. Thrall is like nightmare fuel for like anyone. And yeah, if you played the game before, like I'm sure you stand with me, Thrall is like a nightmare. Like a big nightmare.
GG, I love to see him die. I mean, what?
Yes.
I don't hate this god. I don't hate him with a fiery passion. Good job, Usurpering.
Thank you.
Say goodbye to the drummer for the band.
Bye-bye, drummer for the band. And we actually have some more donation time, actually.
For sure. Got $100 from Nonsense Synapse. Pray for the gods? I'd rather play with the dogs.
Yes.
If you guys want more dog action, there is a dog in yin phase. Dog's not there in yang phase. So if you don't want the dog, put your money towards yang. If you do want the dog, put it towards yin for the Kuan run coming up.
But we do want the dog.
I agree, I want the dog, but I just want to inform y'all. You can keep the dog away. We've also got a $25 from OmniJack. Pet the dog!
Thank you so much for your donations. And we have the last boss, which is actually going to be by far the longest boss in the entire game, because it's like kind of 4 bosses actually in one. You have 3 giants and then 1 ultra long boy. And that's Thrall again. I don't want to be Thrall. No, not again. And yeah,
No,
there's actually
not again.
There's going to be a lot of interesting things going on in this final fight once we load up. We have 3 fire giants to kill, and then we also have Big Al, which is a nickname for Aldonari that we have. So we're going to skip this cutscene. So in the game, after you kill the 7th boss or Thrall, whichever order you chose to do it in, this will happen. The world will be on fire. There's like a watcher from Drakengard over there just chilling, and we have to deal with some fire giants as well. So there are 3 of them that we need to fight, and they have kind of weak spots, kind of like how Thrall did. So like the mandala at the top of his body, they kind of have the same thing. So instead of bells, we have to like shoot these things on these fire giants and also not be shot in the process. I said not be shot in the process. Let's see, I'm in time. That'll interrupt the animation. And then 1 here. So they all have like 3 weak spots. They can all change. And I don't have another seed. Great.
God, you make using the bomb flowers look so easy, but they are so finicky. They move around all over the place.
Oh, bruh. So, good thing about being on NG Plus is that I have some health potions and meat from my playthrough, which means if I get like mollywopped by a boss, I can just restore my health using these. Which is very good, especially during this fight where everything's on fire and it's gonna burn me. So yeah, finally got the shot on this giant. And so usually what we have to do is this giant will die, and then we have to like activate switches, go up on his body, and then go to the second giant and fight the second giant, which is the worst one in the entire fight. However, we can skip that entirely by coming up here and just, you know, having a great chill time. So the fire giants, hello there. The fire giants, when they're active, they will try and shoot you no matter where you are on the map, which is pretty wild. So if we go to a specific like part of the map, I guess, then yeah, we can trick the fire giant into like shooting his own weak spots. I'm not sure how it works, but it works. So you know, I'm just gonna do that instead, and it saves like a long time. And you may be wondering, oh, well, if you're not, like, over by the second giant, you know, don't you have to, like, walk over there? And isn't that gonna, you know, waste time? Well, luckily it's a checkpoint once the fire giant's killed, and it will kind of teleport you to over where you need to be. So yeah, that's good stuff. So just kind of wait around here for X amount of time.
And this second fire giant is such a pain in the butt, so being able to skip this is such a nice additional piece of tech that was found, I think, in between when you submitted your initial video and now, right?
I don't remember, to be fair. There's been a lot of like developments in the run, especially on this fight as well, just due to like different routings and stuff, because this fight, like, if you're like unprepared, this fight can be just an hours long. This is like one of my weakest fights in the game as well, just because on console it's kind of rumored that the game, it feels a lot more slippery in a way. Another difference between console and PC as well is your loading time. So Echo Rush, so this category for example, on console it is around 2 minutes slower than on PC, just by like loading times alone. And any percent is at least 4 minutes slower on console than it is on PC. So yeah, if you do play on console, there is like that factor. And I am playing on a PS4 Pro with no SSD, so I just don't have like that boosted loading time. But luckily it's like not too much of a disadvantage. Like on this fight, it does feel aiming in particularly with a controller, and yeah, just aiming the flowers, aiming the grapple, especially because I don't play FPS games, it's just awful. It's like mega cringe. But yeah, luckily the game isn't like too like shooter focused. And this is the third fire giant that we do actually have to fight, unfortunately. So we're gonna shoot his wrist, shoot his chest, and then shoot his head. He needs to be up here.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, even though we're gonna have to fight this this particular fire giant, there are huge climbing sections scattered all throughout here. So you've seen Yusu kind of hitting the bell switches and then moving further forward as pieces of lava come out. But there are two particular skips that once we finish this particular fire giant, that Yusu will be able to utilize to trick the game into thinking she's further up the climb than she actually is, to put her a lot further, a lot faster, and activate some fans around the arena that will allow her to glide all the way up to the top. So as soon as she does this final hit here, she should be able to do that first skip.
So fun fact, Aldenari is actually above you all this time, but he has no collision until you activate a certain trigger at the top of this boss. So what we can do is activate a different trigger a lot earlier. So there are going to be air vents at each kind of checkpoint in this fight, in which the game, you know, will have the air vents so that you can easily kind of traverse this kind of temple bit, so that you can kind of regain to get back to where you lost, essentially, you know, height-wise. However, the trigger's just on this tentacle for some reason. So if I just stand here, give it a couple seconds to load in, it will load in the same air vents that would load in if you were on Aldenari himself, which means you can go up really, really high, like really high, and we can use that to our advantage, where just kind of like I was like climbing up on Ball's leg earlier, I can do the same thing, like concept-wise, with this fire giant. So I can stand on surface I really shouldn't be standing on. So if I kind of aim myself, I'm a bit down low. I don't like how this looks. Nah, it's too low. Nah, too low. Yeah, this jump is like also kind of precise, because the game does not want you like there at all, and will try and like slide you down. So I'm gonna like rearrange myself, try and get myself a little bit closer. So again, this is the air vent that I was on about. I'm gonna go all the way up and then try to get back onto the fire giant. You can do this like in a different way. So there's another air vent just kind of like up there. But I prefer doing it this way because I just feel a little bit more secure. And it means I don't have to rely on the grapple. That was robbed from me.
Oof.
No.
Yeah, this is why this fight takes like so long. But it's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's totally going according to plan. This is why
That's okay.
everything's
Everything's on fire, but it's fine.
Everything's on fire.
First jump.
First try.
Yeah. First try.
First try.
This is. I want a picture of this hero, this protagonist, specifically in the middle of this fight with a mug just going, "This is fine," like the dog with the building on fire meme.
There we go.
Yep.
So we got boosted enough, maybe.
Nice.
There we go. Come on. Luckily, I have enough. Pause jump. Pause jump. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Nice.
So I'm not burning to death anymore. That was like kind of scary. Again, I'm working with pixels you really shouldn't be stood on. So now that I'm safe, I can avoid turning all the switches on this giant, and I just have to turn on the select view. All right, buddy. I fell down anyway.
And we just slip in.
This is fine. This is actually fine. Like, I need to activate a few switches anyway from down here. And this entire time I've also got Aldenari shooting like meteors at certain parts of the fight, which is kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm. And hitting like a certain amount of switches on. Oh, geez. Activating a certain amount of switches right towards the top of this climb allows Yusu to skip like 1 or 2 minutes of... Actually, I think it's more than that, isn't it?
It feels like more, yeah. So if you're like me and like you're on console, which is the heckin' slippiest like way to play, then yeah, if you fall, you will like be heckin' wasting time.
Yeah,
and you just skip like minutes overall in this fight by skipping the second giant, skipping climbing up this one, skipping climbing up the first one. Yeah, but can you move out the way?
Yeah, absolutely. And activating a certain amount of switches right towards the top of this climb is essentially what's going to tell the game, oh, hey, she finished the climb. Awesome. So she should be at the top at this point, and that is going to then allow Aldernari to actually become physical and become climbable, which is the final part of this fight that Yuzu is trying to get to.
Yes, so now that
There
we
we
have
go.
this cutscene, Aldernari is actually, you know, a physical being in the map now, and we can climb onto him. And he's actually going to fly directly where we need him to, if I can get onto this boulder. So he's going to make his way down here, and we're going to time a jump. So we're going to go not head to tail, we're going to go tail to head, just because there's a hidden bell on his head that we need to get to. So I'm going to fly in his general direction. Hit with the grapple, not get a fake grapple. Yeah, and this boss is not only slippery, but also the grapple will fake you out a lot. And it's very, very dangerous to like let go and whatever. But I'm actually just going to let go as well because it's spike strats.
Do it. Do it. Yes! Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's always so cool when
Just
you do that.
speedrunner things.
Very
Speedrunner things.
Oh, I'll know. I'll know.
Well,
Heckin' slippy though.
it
Yeah,
do
that's
be
what I was
slippy.
talking about, like the slip and slide. So even though you're supposed to, you know, be on that like platform and you're supposed to stand on it in order to activate the switch, the game will still try and push you off because we haven't talked about wind physics or wind RNG here much, have we?
Oh, we
And how they
haven't.
alter everything
Yes.
in the
So
game.
if you take a look at kind of the pieces of like fire magma, they are kind of replacing the snow that you see throughout most of the game. So the ash. If you pay attention to the direction that is going, that is just completely RNG based. And sometimes the game will randomly spawn in blizzards. Sometimes it will be a lot more windy, less windy, and the direction will change. So there are some times where you can use that to your advantage for a bunch of these speedrun strats to get onto Seder, to go the direction you need to go really quickly. And sometimes the one thing that makes this game really tricky is sometimes it just says no, whether that be with the way that, you know, Aldernari just knocked Yusu off, even though that's a platform that you are supposed to be able to stand on. Sometimes it just moves in a way that it just says no, and the same goes for the wind physics. Sometimes the RNG just is not in your favor because of the direction the wind is moving.
Yeah, this is why like Echo Rush tends to be like a better category, like a more beginner friendly category than any percent. It's because in any percent you're in the overworld and you have to, you know, manually traverse like to each boss, and there's overworld wind RNG where you can be caught in a blizzard and you have to do, you know, jumps and stuff to get to boss arenas, and yeah, the wind will literally just prevent you sometimes from even landing on platforms that you want to, and it's just not a fun time for anyone.
Ooh, nice.
And also, like, the grapple length is also kind of sus. So the grapple has more length, like, vertically than it does horizontally, if that makes sense. So I'm actually going to regain some stamina here. And then do the spike jump anyway, because I have absolutely no limits that can be contained by mortals. I said no limits that can be contained by mortals, let me back on. That's what I get for being bold. Unfortunately, like, in the Owl strat, you do have to let go and re-grab all the time. But I guess today in the marathon, the game just being like, hey, you should probably be more marathon safe, you know? So we're going to listen to the game a bit now, and we're going to take it a bit more easy from now on. So I'm going to go to this air vent and then just climb up the giant again. This boss is hard. Doing it fast, like, you open yourself up to like doing a lot more mistakes as well, which is just like not fun.
Yeah, honestly, the amount of surfaces you can slip off here, the fact that the ground and the air vents are so far away make this an incredibly difficult fight to get absolutely perfectly. So there's still, like, I know that the run has been pretty solidly optimized by a bunch of the top runners, but I know that there's still a ton of time left to be saved. So hey, if you're looking for a game to speedrun that has a small community that is like welcoming new people, this is a really good game to run. The people who run it are really good beans.
Yes, and this is also like the main reason why my estimate is like so big. It's because like Aldernari is just a boss that just can take up like all the time. When Aldernari goes wrong, it goes very, very wrong. And even though, yeah, it's a little bit embarrassing, but also gets to show off like it gets to show off a bit more of the game itself, which is, you know, neat in its own way. So yeah, shout out to like No Matter Studios and the devs. Literally 3 people made the game. If anyone gives like criticism about the game, I'm just kind of there like, well, you know, 3 people made it, right? Like, 3 people made this game. When like indie devs make a game like this big, it's very rare. So come on, why would you fake me out like that, buddy?
Yeah, and like for the fact,
Raph will be like,
I know that the first time I played it, I knew that it going in that it was made by only 3 people. I didn't expect how visually stunning it was going to be for being made by such a small team. So I think that's one thing they should get so many props for, is just the overall world design and visual design. It's an absolutely gorgeous game. Even though sometimes we also have to do with like
sound design, that's just like really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. The artistic design of this game is gorgeous, even if the mechanics can be floaty sometimes. But like that comes with the territory of being made by such a small team.
Yes, an indie game just feels like an indie game, and it plays like an indie game. The physics aren't like polished, but like considering how it was made by 3 people, I still think it's, you know, it's like a miracle the game even came out in the first place, in my opinion. This game's been in development for 7 to 8 years, if I remember correctly. I think the first ever trailer for the game was released 7 years ago, and that featured a very like early version of Yeti. And yeah, the game's come a long way since. It was actually funded with a Kickstarter as well, just so that the devs could like afford to like take time to make this game. Especially a game on this scale where it's like a 3D game with boss AI and NPCs and like a big map. It's just incredible.
And I know that for some of the people who funded it on Kickstarter, they didn't even get to see the whole game when they were in early access. Once it came out, there were additional gods that they actually never even got to see. So there were still surprises for those people who were in early access when they got to play the full game when it was released.
Yeah, so Oldenari like wasn't in the like early access. Brawl wasn't in the early access. And I think those were the only 2 that you couldn't see in early access, and at different points of the access you could see different ones. So like Dreki wasn't originally like played, like you couldn't originally beat Dreki, and then you could after like a certain patch. And this game's like run has actually come like quite a way as well since the game's release. So there's been like a bunch of let's say game breaking glitches that this game used to have back in the early access day, which it no longer has.
All right. Like, yeah, there it is.
And so one of like the biggest glitches that got patched in early access was what's called I don't even know how to describe it. So if you save, something to do with saving mechanic, or if you load like over a save, then the game will load you into the sky, and then you can just glide down on top of the boss which you need to get onto, which, you know, saved like a ton of time. But it was also causing problems, you know, casually for casual players, because it like kind of corrupted saves in a way, so they had to patch that. So unfortunately, you know, the devs had to patch that, which is a shame because that was like a glitchy mess. There was another like glitch called the Muk Slider. To my knowledge, it works the same as item sliding does in Wind Waker, where you just zoom, you just go for it. And yeah, you used to be able to speed your way like up so many slopes and stuff. That also got patched, unfortunately. Big sad. So now we just have like Grapple, our only friend. Yeah, so one other thing to note is like a lot of the other runners, so Fuzzles, Tactic, Judge Magister, they all played from the early access, whereas I like bought this game on December when it came out. So so I've definitely had like the least experience of the game, but the community has just been like so like welcoming to me as well, and like so helpful. Judge Magister's even made a guide, like a video by video guide for new players and adept players, people, anyone. So the game's actually a lot easier to get into than a lot of other speedruns which just don't have guides. So yeah, shoutouts to Judge for actually making the game like a lot more accessible. And I'll stand on lava, I don't care anymore. I also did a hotfix, how to train a speedrunner of this game. So it kind of goes through like step by step, like individual mechanics of the game, little things as well that maybe weren't mentioned in Riku's guides. So yeah, there's a lot like going for the community right now if the game will actually let me hit the Switch. And here's another example of the game just saying no. So in Oldenari in particular, so I preferably want to hit these switches, my grapple. But Oldenari, just, if I want to hit the grapple, sometimes the grapple will go around the switch, even if I have like a clear like shot. And it's just like, why? Why have you forsaken me? What have I done to you?
Apparently everything. The amount of times this game says no to everyone, even the people who are the best at it, is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah, so world record rise. So any percent world record is 59 minutes, and Echo Rush world record is 46 minutes, I do believe. Someone may have to correct me in chat. But yeah, getting like a good time, like a top time in this run is very difficult, and I've definitely showcased like a bunch of things that can go wrong, even for no reason, like the grapple just faking you out, the physics faking you out, the wind RNG ruining your day. Yeah, Big Al is just like the biggest like oof of the entire run, just because of the amount of things going on. Yeah, that is an oopsies.
Echo Rush world record is 46:25.
Yes, thank you so much for checking that, Jade. And yeah, so the any percent world record is by Tactic 710. Amazing runner, amazing friend, and also Judge Magister again, amazing runner, amazing friend from the server. Just absolutely slapped Echo Rush, like absolutely did it dirty, and it's an incredible run. Like I'd highly recommend like watching the world records of this game because they are insane. And yeah, this game's come a long way since I first started running it or playing it even. And yeah, just seeing it like be repeatedly like broken into, like the amount of developments people had on like Oldenari's fight, for example, like where we can skip the second fire giant and, you know, avoid climbing up the third one. There's been like so much, and there's definitely more that is undiscovered as well, that hopefully we can suss out soon, because Oldenari is a pain and I want his fight to be as short as possible. Oldenari sucks. Oldenari sucks.
Yeah, you've taken out 3 fire giants now. You've taken out multiple weak spots, but there are still 2 more left to hit. Both are going to be on the head, just on different locations. And we are going to get an assist from a special friend very shortly. We're going to get an assist.
We get to phone a friend.
We get a furry friend who's going to give us an assist to get to that final, not sigil, bell. There we go.
Yeah, so the reason that we go from tail to head, not head to tail, like we did on Dreki, for example, is because the fourth bell rather, is actually hidden. So yeah, we need to like uncover it, which our friend is going to help us with. So, you know, game, why would you do that to me? That's very rude. So you remember the doggo from earlier? Well, the doggo is actually going to help us in this final boss fight, which is very poggers. Thank you so much, doggo. And this is where he wears like special lava-proof shoes as well. So don't you worry, the dog is totally fine. He's wearing shoes that are lava-proof, and he's not in pain, and he's gonna be having a great time. And again, the grapple just not working for some reason.
Yep.
Thanks, grapple.
He also gets bigger progressively as the game goes on. So he was a much smaller doggo earlier. This time we get big doggo.
Big doggo with big booties.
Yes. So he starts off as like a normal like size wolf, and then just progressively gets bigger, like more huggable in my opinion. The bigger an animal is, the more huggable the animal is. That's usually how it goes, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I would second that. It's just it's more fluff to hug.
Yes, more to hug.
More fluff to hug and more fluff to pet.
Look, there he is. It's our friend.
The big doggo.
Big boy.
And we get to do a wonderful thing by riding his back.
Yes, so the doggo is grabbable. We
Very
can grab
grabbable.
the doggo and hopefully not fall off the grabbable dog, which I've done before.
And time is not going to be on the final bell hit here. Time is going to be when the bell hits in the overworld. So just don't hit time quite yet. We got a little more to go.
Yes. Time would be on the final inputs of the story, which is not after this boss, it's after like a few cutscenes and whatnot. So we have time to just hang around after we kill Big Al, and hopefully... So Al's gonna do a spin here, so I'm not gonna let go, I'm just gonna chill on the doggo real quick. And like, as like Al's shaking, the dog bites the chain to stay on, and I just find that really adorable. He do a heckin' hold on, look at him.
Yeah, and I see a question in chat saying, hey, how many spoilers does this give? I mean, we've given a few ideas of how to do the fights, but as far as plot, there is so much additional plot in the overworld to be found, and so much you haven't seen about the survival mechanics that I don't really think that watching the world record, if you've been watching this, is going to give you many spoilers, more than you've already seen, you know?
So it'll spoil the boss fights, but not the lore, because the lore you have to go and find yourself, really, and that's all done.
Yes, Al's done.
GG.
We did it. GG.
Right. So we have like Al's death cutscene and then like a couple other cutscenes. So feel free to read some donations. Actually, it's a good time for like 5 maybe.
All right, sounds good. We've got a $10 anonymous donation. It says, "Pet that dog." Got another $10 from anonymous with no comment, and $15 from anonymous with no comment. Don't forget, we are also working towards our milestone incentive. So when you donate, make sure you pick whatever incentives you want, like yin or yang phase. But that money still also goes towards the milestone. And once we hit that $30,000, we get the Phasmophobia run. So get that money in. Let's choose if we're doing yin or yang. Get some Kuon going, some extra time on that, the Kuon phase, extra time on Kuon.
Absolutely. So this is just a cutscene. There's going to be a bell in that pool of water. So in the actual game itself, the more bosses you fight, the more water is going to be in that pool. And that's like a magical essence, I guess. The dog's fine, don't worry. He's just, ascending to his spiritual form. He's not dying. He's just ascending to heaven. All dogs go to heaven. Love that movie. Yeah, so shout outs then, as we're just kind of rolling along. So I've already said Judge Magister, just world record holder for this category. Tactic, who's world record holder for 80%. Fuzzles, which is also helped on a bunch of skips. Also time is coming up. And time.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. That's over with.
GG's.
GG.
Yeah. So yeah, Fuzzles has helped with like a bunch of tech and stuff and skips. We have Gabuli, who's the main moderator for Praey speedruns. And there's also Tic Tac, who's also like the same level as me, who we do races occasionally and whatnot. So yeah, shout out. That's all of us basically. There's like 5-6 of us just having a good time in the Discord. You should join. It's great fun. You can find links to Discord in speedrun.com. And also shout-outs to my commentators who have helped me despite not being runners of the game. Where can we find you on Twitch as well?
Heck yeah. Well, again, my main background has been Shadow of the Colossus speedrunning, although I now have been branching out and speedrun a bunch of other games too. But you can find me. I am an actor, streamer, speedrunner. I'm over on twitch.tv/RubyHeart. So if you want to see someone who's a big musical theater and arts kid nerd who also loves video games, then please feel free to find me over there. Oh, I'm also doing a Shadow of the Colossus run later this week. So if you want to see that,
yes.
I will also be in Flame Fatales just later.
Yes.
Doggo.
Doggo. Yeah, you can find me on Twitch at Sunbrojade. I'm also a Shadow of the Colossus speedrunner. I also run Eco, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of other different speedruns later on. And I'm also a Dark Souls enthusiast, so if you love that, you can check me out for that.
Yes, and I'm Usurpering, and I will be running again at Playing Fatales this year. I will be running The Last Guardian any percent in a race with Sable Dragonrook, and The Last Guardian is my first speed game that I learned, so hopefully I'll be better at that than I am at this. This is the fourth game I learned to run, so yeah, and I'm still kind of new, so apologies if the gameplay was a bit janky, but yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Also, shout out to Team Eco Speedruns, the speedrun community that we're all part of. They're all amazing, and they've all like helped and whatnot. There's too many names to list out, but like you're all awesome, and yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, we're all good. I'm just gonna keep petting this dog until we go.
All right, congrats Usurpering on the wonderful run. Got some more donations here. We've got $50 from Doralis. By the power of the Christmas foot, the blessed bone, the good old combined, we must get to the milestone. Forward! That's talking about that Phasmophobia milestone once we hit 30,000. We've got $150 from Theta52. Keep being awesome, everyone. And with that, we will be right back. We're going to take a quick break.
Okay. Hello.
Welcome back. Malala Fund is working for a world where every girl can learn and lead. With more than 130 million girls out of school today, Malala Fund partners with education advocates and activists who are breaking down barriers that hold girls back. All right, we've got some donations here too. We've got $25 from Manny with no comment. Thank you for that. With that, I think we are just about ready So I'm going to pass you over to Katie Moon for Shivers.